You're listening to the Main Street Deal, part of Main Street Media. I'm Jordan. It's Monday, May 18th, 2026. Today, we're walking through one real listing on the market right now. The listing is a full-service independent auto repair shop in Cypress, Texas, which is in the northwest corner of the Houston Metro, Harris County. It's a current BizBuySell listing. The asking price is $375,000. The listed seller's discretionary earnings, the SDE, is $247,500 on roughly $450,000 in annual revenue. The shop has been operating in the area for years, runs out of a lease facility, and the listing explicitly says the current owner has spent essentially nothing on marketing. Walk-ins, word of mouth, and repeat customers. That's the whole funnel. Now let's do the math, the way you do it at your kitchen table. The multiple is asking price divided by SDE. 375,000 divided by 247,500. That gives you 1.52 times SDE. The median earnings multiple for an auto repair shop in BizBuySell's most recent benchmark report is 2.71, and the range across the industry sits between roughly 2 and 3.65. So this shop is priced well below the industry median. That's the first thing you should notice, and we'll come back to it. Now the SBA, 7 of financing math. We assume the standard Main Street acquisition structure. 10% down means $37,500 out of your pocket. The financed amount is $337,500. At 9.3% interest over a 10-year term, the monthly principal and interest payment comes in at $4,330.30. Annual debt service, 12 months of that payment, is $51,964. Subtract that from the SDE of $247,500, and you get a post-debt service income of $195,536. That is what you have left to pay yourself. Reinvest in the shop and absorb the inevitable surprises in year one. By the math alone, that's a healthy buffer for a shop at this price point. But the math is only the entrance to the room. The reason this listing is below the industry median is the real story, and you have to find it before you sign anything. Here are the 3 due diligence priorities I would put at the top of the list for this specific deal. First, the lease in the building. Auto repair lives or dies on its physical location. Lifts, alignment racks, signage, customer routines, the city zoning that lets you do mechanical work in the first place. If the lease has under 5 years left, or if the landlord is the seller, or if there's a rent escalator that kicks in after closing, your post-debt service buffer evaporates fast. The very first document you ask the broker for is the full lease and any amendments, end to end. Second, the technician bench. A shop doing $247,000 in SDE on $450,000 in revenue is running at a 55% margin. That is almost always a single owner operator turning wrenches alongside 1 or 2 trusted techs, with overhead kept brutally lean. If the owner is one of the wrenches and he leaves at closing, you are buying a building and a sign, not a business. You need to know which technicians are staying, what they're paid, whether anyone has a non-compete, and what the owner's actual billable hours are inside that SDE number. Third, the customer file. The listing's headline is that the seller has spent nothing on marketing. That's either a gift or a warning. The gift version. This is a real neighborhood shop with a loyal customer base built over years, and there's room for an operator who actually answers the phone and posts on Google to grow it. The warning version. The revenue is concentrated in a handful of fleet accounts or one big local employer, and the moment that contract walks, half the cash flow goes with it. Pull the customer concentration, ask for revenue by top 10 customers, and ask how long each of those relationships goes back. Quick yellow flag worth naming, a 55% SDE margin is high for general auto repair. It suggests either lean overhead, owner labor sitting inside SDE that you'll have to pay a tech to replace, or aggressive add-backs in the seller's recast. Quality of earnings is non-negotiable here. The verdict. This is a pursue. The biggest single reason is that the asking price implies a 1.52 multiple in a category that trades at 2.71, which means either the listing is priced to move quickly because the seller wants out, or there is a problem the listing isn't disclosing yet. It's either of those is a buyer situation, but only for a buyer who actually does the work to find out which. So pursue with a specific intent. Figure out which one of those two it is before you spend $1 on a quality of earnings engagement. The one question I would put to the broker before anything else is this: how many years are left on the lease? Who owns the building? And which technicians have signed on to stay after the sale? 3 things, one breath. If the broker can't answer all 3 on the spot, that's information too. That's it for Monday. Find all of Main Street Media's shows wherever you listen. Subscribe, leave a review, and I'll see you Thursday for an operator story.